हेलो।
हेलो।
हाँ अनिल जी।
Yeah, hi, how are you?
आई एम गुड, आप कैसे हो?
Yeah, I'm good, good. Yeah,
बढ़िया।
yeah, actually, I told you about the call recording, na?
हाँ हाँ।
Yeah, actually, first of all, thank you so much for like coming onto this series because actually I had already heard a lot about you and I had read your articles also on 80 Now and Morningstar. And
माय प्लेजर सर।
and we just became friends a few months ago. But actually, I really used to read a lot about you and actually wanted to have a word with you. But I thought
हाँ
that
हाँ
maybe he would be arrogant and all that, so I never approached you.
हाँ।
So when I
तो
had a word with you, I was like, he's so down to earth. So thank you so much.
नहीं नहीं, फर्स्टली आई वुड लाइक टू थैंक यू एंड एकदम सच्ची में थैंक यू हरनीत भाई फॉर गिविंग मी दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी एंड
Okay.
एज यू राइटली सेड दैट वी हैव बीन फ्रेंड्स for just about a few months, but what matters to me and why this is very special for me is because of the connect that we have shared. And
Yeah.
Thanks to this platform, the chat with traders, thanks to this platform that I have been able to connect with you and some really amazing like-minded friends whom you have interviewed. And to be very, very honest, all of these chats has helped me a lot as well. And on behalf of the entire trading and investing community, we should all thank you for taking this initiative because I'm sure that it will reduce the learning curve of a lot of people.
No, no, actually it's a pleasure for me because when I get to talk to people like you and Rishi and Harshita and Pankaj also, and actually
Right.
I get to gather so much knowledge myself. and and networking is actually really important. So actually this is
I
a very
totally
great
agree.
platform for me too.
In fact, just because of your platform, I think me and Rishi also got connected,
Yeah,
as you might be knowing. So I'm so happy to be here.
no, it's the pleasure is mine. Yeah, so first of all, like I would like to like start by asking you about your basic journey. Like I know a bit about it, but like how did you start? How did you start learning about the investment part and how did you get into the markets? So like how did it start
So,
for you?
so my grandfather used to invest and he used to put his savings in stock market. And while I was growing up, I was always fascinated. We used to get the physical annual reports delivered at our place, and we
Okay.
used to read them. And I was always fascinated by it. And my journey started in high school when I requested my grandfather to buy one Netflix share on my behalf. So it was, I always used to ask him that what do you look out for in companies, आप कैसे लेते हो, क्या करते हो? So he used to tell me कि whatever products you are getting at home or wherever you go, read the label.
Right.
So, there are a lot of pharmacies near our place, and obviously being a big fan of, as all of us are, and especially in the lockdown period, Maggie and Milo, etc.
Yeah.
So I randomly told him कि ठीक है एक शेयर मेरे लिए ले लो ऐसे ही, and that is how it started. And obviously that was not the serious part, but
Yeah.
on a full-time basis, I started after I finished my masters from London School of Economics, and my studies was in accounting and finance. Plus,
Okay.
I am from a business-oriented family. So
Okay.
दोनों चीज जहाँ मिलती है, that is stock market,
Right.
accounting, finance, and businesses.
Right.
So ultimately ended up being here, and my in terms of learning, like you said, so when I came back from LSC, so I thought that okay, I've had enough theoretical experience
Right.
and I've learned a lot about valuation, portfolio management, etc., etc. So
Hmm.
let me understand what the reality is, because I had this thing in me that कहीं ना कहीं पे the practical world has to differ.
Right.
Just like say in case of a doctor or an engineer or a CA, एक आर्टिकलशिप करना पड़ता है, आपको प्रैक्टिस करनी पड़ती है.
Right.
So I thought that there is something that is missing, which I really need to understand. Theory and practical में कुछ difference तो हमेशा होता है. So then I approached a lot of great investors through social media, through various platforms. I sent my research to them, and I I wanted to actually know what their journey was, how did they approach the market, how was their mindset, etc. Research कैसे करते हैं ये लोग. So
Right, right.
in that, I was very fortunate that, a lot of them did give me a little bit of time, maybe over phone, or sometimes I traveled across India to meet them. I attended as many conferences as I can so that, I get to learn and to shorten my learning curve. And then I got the biggest lesson of my life. So normally what happens in stock market,
Right,
we don't question our thesis, right?
right, right.
So normally जो भी सुना होता है, we keep on doing like that.
Mm-hmm.
कि ठीक है म्यूचुअल लेना है, ये करना है, वो करना है. When I met all these great seasoned investors, the first thing that I learned was there is no one strategy that fits all.
Right,
एक तरीका नहीं है पैसा बनाने का. There are so many ways to make money, and all of these legends have made money in different ways.
but
Some keep a concentrated portfolio, some keep a diversified portfolio. Someone is a value investor, someone is a growth investor, someone likes to read companies in front of screen and not meet the management. Someone thrives on meeting the management and doing groundwork. So
right,
it made me open to possibilities, and I realized that the only way to have a very long career in stock market is not to look outside but to look within.
perfect.
That which strategy will suit me. मेरे को कौन सा सूट करेगा, मेरे को कौन सी स्ट्रैटेजी चैन से नींद देगी, एंड विच स्ट्रैटेजी would give me the maximum conviction.
Right.
So this was the biggest learning, and I guess from there my journey started.
Perfect. And actually, I really, we talked earlier also, I really like this fact that you actually went to the investors and you actually went there and met with them. And actually, not many
Right.
people have this much like enthusiasm to really go and approach them and talk with them. And actually, it's really great for your part.
No, I am really thankful to all of them who actually gave me time. I totally understand how busy they must be, and
Right.
especially being in stock market, research कभी खत्म ही नहीं होता. You can read as much as you can. So
Right.
taking out time for a youngster. But I always feel that if you have passion in you and that gets communicated to people, if there is honest passion and you are working hard, and I guess that is where we all connected.
Right, right. And like, we will talk about your strategy also and about your, how do you approach stocks, how do you filter stocks. But
Hmm.
first of all, like just to motivate our viewers, like how do you like the trade that you took, like which I know, like the Avanti feeds trade. So
Right.
like how did you got that conviction to hold it for so long? And that can you briefly explain that how much you like how much returns you made in that, just to motivate our clients. Yeah.
So Avanti Feeds, I made 70 times my capital, and it would be wrong to say that, the initial money that I put in, that was basically very sizable position. So I
Right.
kept on adding when it was moving up, and not because just the price was moving up, because the fundamentals were also improving substantially.
Right.
So I would request all the learners, people who are really interested in learning, to go there and read the annual report of Avanti Feeds of 2011, 2012. And even if you do not read anything else, just read the management discussion and analysis part of it. And
Right.
a lot of us are very, very scared of reading annual reports because खोल तो लेते हैं बट समझ में नहीं आता है. फिर इनिशियल डेज में समझ
Right.
में नहीं आता कि पढ़ तो रहे लेकिन इससे लेना क्या है.
Right.
All of the people are saying read annual reports, आप annual report पढ़ें, आप कौन कॉल पढ़ें, but ultimately what are you actually trying to figure out?
Right.
So it will help you a lot because it was a pretty small company there and will give you a lot of ideas. So what was happening at that point in time was I start with stocks making new highs, right? So Avanti had made a new high. I think abhi split it okay, the price was around 13-14 rupees. And it had made a new 52-week high. So
Okay.
I went to the screener, like whatever my process is. I
Right.
saw that, okay, company is giving really good growth, numbers are improving, profitability, bottom line, everything is improving. And when I then went to the annual report, I saw that, okay, a big company has taken a stake in Avanti Feeds and a substantial one. So I was fascinated that why would such a big company, Thai Union, be interested in such a small company? And I started reading more about it. And there are a lot of other things like, you know, a new breed of shrimp culture that was developing that time,
Right.
and Venamai from Black Tiger, and how government was also supporting them. So they have explained everything. So I would request all of you to go to annual report of 2011-12 and read it, and you'll understand the reasons why Avanti Feeds did give me a lot of conviction then. But then again, to keep it till 70 times was a different thing, because क्या होता है, like Vijay Korea sir always says that you are running with a torch. You can only see 100 meters in front of you. You
Right.
cannot really see that okay ये 70 गुना हो जाएगा, ऐसा नहीं होता है. A lot of people feel कि ऐसा होता है, but ऐसा नहीं होता है. So
Right.
as the journey progresses, initially you get a sense, okay, this is a scalable business. It can become very big. The promoter is nice, hardworking and honest. So probably, it can become big, but you do not know how big and how long, because there are external factors also that affect a business. Like
Right.
suppose the corona happened right now. So things which are beyond the control of the promoter happen. So for me, I was fortunate that Avanti happened in a cycle when market was also doing well. Plus, the entire time the tailwinds for it was increasing. The raw material prices were going down. The demand for the products was going high. The promoter is also a fanatic, and for me, the general thing has been as long as the growth is there and story is intact,
Right.
we should stick to the company.
Perfect. Perfect. So like when you were invested in that stock, like say,
Yeah.
how often did you used to check the price of the stock?
यार I'll be very honest, वो प्राइस तो देख ही लेते थे. I mean, you do watch the price. So
Yeah.
it's not that, but what is important is how many times are you questioning your decision.
Right.
See,
Right.
being full time in markets, you watch prices. I would
Okay.
not say I don't watch prices, but you are not वो price देख के every moment I am not questioning myself whether I should sell, यहाँ से गिर जाएगा, यहाँ से उठ जाएगा. So that thesis was based on the business and a little bit of risk management factors. That thesis was not based on आज बढ़ गया कल घट गया. So
Right. Right.
there were a lot of lean periods in between as well. But then till the time the story is intact, lean periods will definitely be there, just like it is there for the businesses that we own or businesses that we work for.
Right. 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 Perfect. Perfect. So like, when you like enter a stock, like what are the basic criteria that you watch, or what is your basic checklist? Like just a basic explanation if you can.
Yeah. So I would first talk a little bit about how I come to which stocks do I have to read.
Yeah.
So I start with new 52-week highs or new 3-6 month highs, especially in this kind of environment. So I like to see stocks showing some strength.
Right.
मार्केट में एक रियलिटी है, गुड कंपनीज बिकम बैड एंड बैड कंपनीज बिकम गुड. दैट डज नॉट रियली मीन दैट इट्स ऑल स्पेकुलेशन. व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से
Yeah.
इज businesses also have cycles, and world is also ever changing. So there are some times when things are going good for some businesses, and there are times when businesses face hurdles because of external factors also. So if you now talk to people, people will say that don't invest in PSUs. Most of the people have been saying that from last few years.
Yes.
But then PSUs were the biggest wealth creators from 2002 to 2007.
Right.
They
Right.
created massive wealth because national government was doing divestment, etc., etc. So that is what I'm saying. The factors change. So one of the ways I let market tell me what to study, because there are so many listed companies. You cannot randomly choose companies and read them. There has to be a process to what you do for sustainability. So I start with stocks making new highs,
Right.
and that has worked very, very well for me. Even if you look at, say, an Avanti Feeds, it hit a new 52-week high at 13 rupees and went till whatever 1200 and something like that, split okay.
Right.
And I believe it is a way of market to tell me that there is something that is going right for the stock, and you study. a lot of people feel that 52-week highs are very late, but to enter, and it's not that 52-week high मार दिया तो आपने ले लिए. There's a lot of hard work that goes into it after that. That is just a watch list for me to start filter करने का situation.
Yeah, that's just a filter. Yeah.
Yeah. So उसके बाद there is a lot of work that goes in, and a lot of times it's a disclaimer that stocks hit a new high and they start falling. So उसके बाद you need to do the full work. Now coming to what work that I do, so basically just for the listeners, I'll break my stock picking strategy into 4-step process. So firstly, as I told you that I start with stocks hitting new highs. I do not like to average down. I do not like to buy stocks which are going down. I absolutely do not like it. And when I look at the list of stocks hitting new highs, I basically try to find a common sector or a common theme that is there. So suppose I see that a lot of companies from a particular sector are hitting new highs, then I pick up that sector and I start studying. So my whole thought process is ऐसा क्या हो रहा है कि ये सारी कंपनीज नया हाई मार रही है, एंड इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू स्टडी देम व्हेन दे आर हिटिंग न्यू हाइज फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम. ऐसे आगे भी पढ़ना है, बट ऐसा नहीं कि बहुत भाग गया फिर नया हाई मार रहा है और आप पढ़े. आई स्टार्ट व्हेन दे स्टार्ट हिटिंग न्यू हाइज इनिशियली, एंड if I find, then I move on to the screener. I try to normally see how are the parameters so that I can filter whether I should put in that 30, 40, 50 hours of work in that company or that sector or not, to see how things are going. So once I see that, okay, there is some kind of growth in the company and the overall, the structure of the company does not look too shady to me, I like to dwell and go in depth. So how do I go in depth is the second step. So for me, checklist is very important. So I have an entire checklist, although it's not comprehensive, but then I have a list of questions that I'm trying to answer when I'm reading through various sources. So for me, minimum requirement for any stock to qualify as a buy is reading annual report of last 5 years at least, going to the con calls if available, screening it through screeners, going to the credit rating agency reports if it's available, checking the promoter's background, Google it, promoter का नाम, promoter का Facebook, promoter का LinkedIn, promoter का background, etc.
So you do the old school research for each and everything.
हाँ, but start with 52-week high. There has to be a process. आज high ले रहे हैं, कल low ले रहे हैं. I'm not saying this is the only way to make money. There are 1,000 ways. I know people who specialize in buying at bottoms also, but that does not work for me. आपको समझना होगा आपके लिए क्या काम करता है. And management interviews etc. And then I try to fill my checklist so that I don't miss out on any crucial information. And so क्या होता है, lot of time as I spoke earlier, सब लोग बोलते हैं एनुअल रिपोर्ट पढ़ो, बट आप ढूंढने का क्या कोशिश कर रहे हो. सो दैट इज द रेफरेंस पॉइंट विच चेकलिस्ट एक्ट्स फॉर मी, कि मैं निकालने का क्या कोशिश कर रहा हूँ. एंड देन लेटर ऑन आई हैव अ समरी ऑफ ऑल द थिंग्स. नाउ व्हाट इज चेकलिस्ट फॉर पीपल हु हैव नॉट हर्ड द टर्म? Checklist is basically a list of things that I am trying to look for, like what has been the sales growth, company की business का, etc. So I have a very long checklist of around 30-40 questions that I am trying to fill when I am reading about a company. Right. Now, once that process is done, I come to the third part. So out of experience and so my entire learning, I'm sorry, this question might take a little bit longer to answer.
It's good. In fact, people are getting a checklist. They can write down the checklist later, and they can even start following that if it suits their personality. So it's a good thing that you are telling about all the checklists, all the points.
Okay. Thank you, Amit bhai, for giving me the time. So after that, I go to the pattern. So my entire learning has been out of going in the history. I believe if you are in markets, you have to be student of history more than student of finance or business. So you go back to the history, and there is no other way and no shortcut to learning. आप हिस्ट्री में जाइए, आप पुराने मल्टीबैगर्स को निकालिए. एवरीवन इज ऑब्सेस्ड अबाउट अभी क्या पढ़ना है, अभी क्या पढ़ना है, वो आपको पता चल जाएगा अगर आप पुराने मल्टीबैगर्स को पढ़ो और पुराने वेल्थ डिस्ट्रॉयर्स को पढ़ो, कि वो कैसे बड़े बने, व्हाट वाज द सिचुएशन एट दैट पॉइंट इन टाइम, व्हाट वर द ऑब्स्टैकल्स दैट दे वर फेसिंग एंड हाउ दे ग्रू. So I do this research in and out. Even now I try to find old stocks which have done very well, companies which were multi-bagger of the past, and I try to read annual reports and those kind of things of that time, so that अभी सामने दिखे तो लगे हाँ यही तो है, ऐसा ही तो स्टॉक में हो रहा था.
Right.
So that should be the mindset. So out of those reading experience, I have figured out few patterns which I call multi-bagger patterns. जैसे कि नेगेटिव वर्किंग कैपिटल. नेगेटिव वर्किंग कैपिटल बेसिकली मीन्स कंपनीज विच वर्क ऑन प्रॉफिट. नाउ वी ऑल नो हाउ competitive world is, and who would give advances? Now there are some companies which are so good that their dealers, distributors are giving advances for products कि आप मैं पहले से पैसा देके रखा हूँ, आप मुझे माल बेच देना. So that is what the whole mindset is. So we all know that something great might be there in the quality of the company or product, that people are craving for the product so much. So I'll just give you a small example. So in case of say Kaplan Point, it was once a big multi-bagger. Obviously there are a few negatives about the company in terms of cash flows as well, but let us just ignore it for a while and focus on what we saw.
Okay.
So in Kaplan Point, if you go to screener and you see cash conversion cycle, you will see it was always negative.
Okay.
So, which means that they were getting advances for their products. And this company, again, now then, how did this company come to my radar? It hit a new 52-week high, right?
Perfect.
In 2013-14, and then I went, because there has to be a process ना, जब तक WhatsApp और Twitter पे स्टॉक का नाम आएगा, तब तक तो वो मल्टी-बैगर हो चुका होगा.
Okay,
तो
so
मेरे को कैसे पहले पता चलेगा?
So you're following this approach for 52-week high from 2011-12 only. You are following it from last 7-8 years, means.
No, I started following it from 2014.
Okay.
2014. So I always thought that, earlier क्या हुआ, I saw stocks such as Asian Paints, Pidilite, these stocks always made new highs.
Right.
अगर 100 गुना, 200 गुना, 1000 गुना स्टॉक हुआ है तो आप सोचो कितनी बार हाई मारा होगा.
Right.
So अपने को लेना वैसा स्टॉक है, लेकिन खरीदना 52 वीक लो वाला है, तो आपके हाथ में कैसे वो स्टॉक आएगा? So that is how I thought that let me focus on new highs, right? So Kaplan Point, and then if you look, it did not make a new 52-week low till its entire journey till 780. वो 10-12 रुपया का स्टॉक 780 चला गया, नया लो नहीं मारा. This is not a parameter I look into. A lot of stocks in between hit 52-week lows because of general market weakness or say temporary business problems also. But I'm just sharing a thought with you guys. And similarly, there are other patterns such as acquisition and takeover, like we discussed in the case of Avanti, that 25% stake this Thai Union took, or eradication of, the third pattern is eradication of non-core diversification, which happened in Symphony. Symphony was on the verge of bankruptcy in 2007-8, and suddenly they, diversified, and they did not, they had earlier diversified and they removed all other sectors, they removed all other businesses apart from their core business, and that is when it started to become a big multi-bagger. Then fourth pattern that I look into is company in a niche area but small market cap. So you look at Avanti or a Sera or even Symphony or La Opala, all of these companies were leaders, but market caps were 50 crores, 100 crores, 200 crores. So then we have to question what is the opportunity size and keep them on radar, so they could also become big someday. And another pattern that I really love is small company eating into market share of a market leader. Okay. So like nobody knew Havells and Amara Raja battery. Everybody knew Crompton and Exide. But these companies started eating into the market share of the biggies and became such a big companies themselves. Now the last point after looking into patterns is scuttlebutt. The fourth step in the research process. Scuttlebutt would mean ground reality. कि असली में दुकान में जाना, मॉल पे जाना, talking to the dealer, distributor, supplier, if you can. It is not necessary. So that is why this is the fourth step. If we can, I have also not, nobody can do it for all the companies, but wherever we can, try and go into the depth. So even say places like LinkedIn has helped me a lot in this. So if I'm reading about a particular sector, I try to connect with people who are doing very well in that sector. कोई कंपनी में काम करे अच्छे पोस्ट पे ये वो, एंड देन आई ट्राई टू टॉक टू देम कि आपका रॉ मटेरियल का प्राइसेस का क्या हो रहा है, हाउ इज द डिमांड शेपिंग अप, एंड टू माय सरप्राइज पीपल हैव बीन सो ओपन टू शेयरिंग थिंग्स. सो देन यू नो द ग्राउंड रियलिटी फीडबैक कि असली में क्या हो रहा है. प्रमोटर तो कुछ नहीं बोलेगा, बट अपने को तो वेरिफिकेशन करना है. So that is how the whole process gets structured, and this is basically the crux of the research that we do.
Yeah, so actually we can know that actually a lot of hard work actually goes into the studying of all these stocks. And the last part also, like I am also from a handloom business. So
Right.
when I used to sit in my shop, I used to there is a company known as Sheila Foam Limited, which
अच्छा.
makes sleep well mattresses.
हाँ.
So earlier, like 10 or 12 years back, there used to be a monopoly of curl-on mattress only. But
Right.
since the last decade, I have seen that Sleepwell mattress has taken the market share like anything. And
Mm-hmm.
and the customers used to come and they used to used to remember the name of the models and they used to know the price also. So the customer
Okay.
was so much in love with the company, and like
हाँ.
that, I can understand your last point. Like that gives really a lot of good confirmation and conviction about the stock. So the ground
Right.
reality really matters a lot. I can really, when you were talking about it, I could relate it with my business. So yes,
Absolutely.
that really matters. Perfect point. And actually, when you are saying that you buy 50 rupee highs, so you are
हाँ.
basically combining momentum with fundamentals.
Yeah. So you can basically say that it is kind of momentum investing, but with fundamentals at core.
And core, yeah.
Because ultimately, this is something that I always say, that in stock market, the biggest strength that we have is that we have the sell button. Otherwise, you invest in real estate and you stay put. So there is a time when no matter how good company you are holding, you have to exit and take a back seat.
Right.
That's why it is very important that we pick the winners, and I cannot, for me personally, this approach has suited me the best.
Right, right. And what are the points you would like to share if someone is going to enter into the markets right now? Like what are the reality checks or what are the warnings that you would like to give before someone
So
jumps into the market?
first thing and the first and foremost thing which I think looking at the current scenario is most important is people need to differentiate and understand what research is. So I see a lot of new guys so passionate about stock market, wanting to learn so much, but in their mind somewhere the social media and the WhatsApp chats and those kind of things take a lot of time, and it makes us feel that probably we are researching. तो सोशल मीडिया पे दिन भर टाइम वेस्ट करके कुछ नहीं होगा, एंड नाइदर डूइंग अनप्रोडक्टिव डिस्कशन सच एज आज ये हो गया, टुडे एफएम सेड दिस, सीएम सेड दिस और प्राइम मिनिस्टर सेड दिस की हो गया. दीज थिंग्स डू मैटर, बट हाउ डू दे मैटर? किस कंपनी को बेनिफिट होगा, किस कंपनी को लॉस होगा? ये खाली डिस्कस करने से मार्केट कहाँ जाएगा, मार्केट क्या लग रहा है, दिस इज नॉट रिसर्च. So social media, use it in a better way, connect with good people. If they do talk about a little bit of stocks, then do research into them as well. But research into them. Just मतलब खाली social media दिन भर scroll करना is one thing that I would strictly not say, because do the hard work. And another few things is that you have to have mindset that this is a business and you have to stay in it for next 30 years. And उस हिसाब से आपको लर्निंग भी करनी पड़ेगी. Like Rishi also said in his interview that without learning there's no way you can do it. एक डॉक्टर, सीए, इंजीनियर बनने में 5 साल लग जाता है. And what makes us feel that stock market जहाँ पे बटन दबा के शायद पैसा बन जाएगा would be so easy, because you are fighting against the smartest of people when you are in stock market. So think that okay, first 6 months 12 years तो totally only learning. धीरे धीरे कुछ कुछ इन्वेस्ट किया तो ठीक है. एंड तो लर्निंग इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, डोंट बी डिस्करेज्ड. इट्स अ tough field to be in terms of mental strength, because market is very volatile. So there will be a lot of times that you question yourself and your abilities. but you grow with time,
Perfect.
and
Perfect.
you have to keep faith कि ठीक है हो जाएगा. And
Yeah.
इसीलिए मतलब I always have this example that the toughest thing that we have learned in our life is alphabets and numbers, because बाकी सब सीखने का तो एक बेस बन गया था, बट
Yeah.
इसका तो कोई बेस ही नहीं था. So
Right. Right.
that proves that, and all of us have been able to learn that. So that proves that hard work and dedication can make us learn anything. I talk to a lot of new potential investors and traders saying we are from science background, ये वो. ठीक है ना, है साइंस बैकग्राउंड से कोई बात नहीं. if you have interest, 1 घंटे की जगह 2 घंटा मेहनत करना पड़ेगा, उससे ज्यादा क्या हो जाएगा. So
Right.
I know a lot of great investors and traders who are from engineering and doctor background. In fact, their strengths are different analytically than ours, from different background, but with hard work it all becomes the same. So
Right.
that is the summary of what I'll like to share with new people.
Perfect. Perfect. Actually, the thing that the last point which you were talking about, I guess like
Right.
the entry badges is also a thing. Like in a doctorship, in anything, in any internship,
Huh.
you have like an entry barrier. But in trading,
Right.
like anyone can open a demat account and start trading from the next day itself. Especially,
Absolutely.
I guess that also matters a lot.
In fact, a lot of times, that ease of just putting in the order basically screws up with people's mind. But
Right.
I think it's a wonderful profession to be in.
Right.
Especially, I love the people we are associated with. It's a profession where I see minimum of jealousy, and people are very happy to help each other, learn
Exactly.
from each other,
Yeah.
and you are so free in terms of being on your own, working from anywhere, and so on. Actually, lockdown में वो सूट नहीं करता है working from anywhere, but
Yeah.
yes, we can work from home as well.
Yeah.
So I believe people should definitely put in time and learn this. It will give great rewards for the next coming many years.
Right. Right. So like, and just the last question, like I guess we read to a lot about you, about your story. So maybe we will
Mm-hmm.
divide this into 2, 3 parts.
ठीक
So
है.
for this first part, like for the last question, I would like to ask, like
हाँ.
how for traders, I know what their routine is like, but for as
Right.
an investor, like what is your daily routine? How much do you watch the markets and like what do you do in a day?
So, normally, see, most of my time goes in reading.
Okay.
I not only like companies which are doing well now, companies which have done well in the past as well, like I said, understanding patterns and all.
Right. Right.
And I think networking is also a very big, part of this puzzle. So, blessed to be in touch with people like you and other smart investors, because what happens is it's a cumulative wisdom that makes the difference.
Right.
So it is very important to be in the right surrounding, because as we say, we are the average of the 5 people we are most surrounded with.
Yeah.
So a lot of effort goes into networking as well. Apart from that, I have been blessed to have invested in few startups as well. There's a drinks and beverage and snacks company that I have invested in. There's with a substantial check. There's a pet food company where we have substantial stake. There's an online pharmacy where
Okay.
we are mentoring them. So a lot of time goes into mentoring them as well, and understanding, which gives us a first-hand experience of being entrepreneurs as well. Like we are not actively participating in the businesses, but then just to act as their consultants and investors, that also takes a lot of time and gives us a lot of input about what is going on in the business world.
Mm-hmm.
So, listening to con calls, result season acts like a marriage season for us, with
Right.
a lot of results coming up. You are stuck on screen, seeing the results, listening to the con calls, etc. So
Right.
the process is never ending. I mean, you as an investor, the more the time you get, the more you can read. That's what it is about.
Perfect. Perfect. So I guess that would be it for this episode, this part. So I will
Perfect.
definitely bother you again really soon, and we can have subsequent parts about after this one. And
I will
actually,
be obliged.
and actually, this is, I am watching the time right now. This is the lengthiest episode that I have done till now. And actually, I felt like it has been just 2 minutes. It was really very interesting. Seriously.
Similar feeling. Actually, the thing is now, with markets, we can start today and maybe finish next week. So, because of the passion that we both share.
Right.
So, I guess it's wonderful talking to you.
Then actually
Always.
the time is also perfect. It's like 1 a.m. and it's our
Right.
time, our research time. It's perfect time for us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, to the listeners, me and Harmeet Bhai are partners in crime in terms of doing research at night.
Yeah.
So, we thought that why not do this interview also late night.
Right. So thank you so much. And I will surely bother you for the next part. Thank you so much
I'll
for
be
this
so
time.
happy. Thanks a
Yeah.
lot,
Thank
Harmeet
you.
Bhai.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.